The 1991 film is not only one of my favorite animated films, but it's the first animated film to ever be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture. So, Bill Condon and Disney had some big shoes to fill. Howdy guys, I'm Zach and I'm here today with Razzle to do a review of the newest Disney live-action film, Beauty and the Beast.
I want so much more than they've got planned.
Beauty and the Beast is directed by Bill Condon and it stars Emma Watson, Dan Stevens, Luke Evans, Josh Gad, Kevin Kline, Ewan McGregor, Sir Ian McKellen, Stanley Tucci, Audra McDonald, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Emma Thompson, just a bunch of people, guys. This cast is huge and crazy. That's gonna lead me to my first positive for this movie, the acting and the cast. Luke Evans and Josh Gad get a lot of screen time in this movie, a lot more screen time than their animated counterparts get. And in my personal opinions, Luke Evans as Gaston and Josh Gad's LeFou are the standouts for this film. The way that these actors embody these characters is just so incredibly impressive. Luke Evans is Gaston in my mind. He has this level of bravado, this swagger, this gravitas that he brings to the role. He's so powerful and he can really sing. He performs these songs super well. And Josh Gad's LeFou is funny. He's in your face. He's bold. He's powerful, but he brings this level of depth to the character that I hadn't seen before in LeFou. He really chose to play this character with a level of vulnerability, and I loved it. The way he interacts with Gaston, you can just see his swell of emotions, and Josh Gad really performs his character incredibly well. Emma Watson is an incredible Belle, but I knew that was going to be the case from the casting. She basically is Belle in real life. She's beautiful, she's powerful, she's intelligent, and those are what Belle has. Belle is strong, Belle is powerful, Belle is intelligent. She has all of these emotions, and that's who Emma Watson is. She's someone who stands up for what she believes in. She's someone who's not afraid to fight for the people she cares about, and she's super intelligent and incredibly beautiful. Now, I will say I don't think Emma Watson has the strongest of voice, and I can tell that her songs are probably the more produced out of the bunch, but I thought her voice was great. No one can really match Paige O'Hara's voice, and I wasn't expecting that out of Emma Watson, but she does a great job here, and I really enjoyed that. Dan Stevens did really surprise me as the Beast. Being almost an entirely mocap character, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to feel his character and feel his motivations and emotion, but I did. I'm not going to say that this is Andy Serkis level, where I'm really connecting to Caesar, but I was connected to the Beast. The Beast CG was an issue I had with the movie, but that wasn't Dan Stevens' fault. Dan Stevens had a good performance, and I thought his voice was very, very powerful, especially with his song, one of the original songs from the movie, Evermore. That song really stuck with me, and he performed it very, very well. Everyone was very good in this movie. I liked Kevin Kline in the film. I loved Ewan McGregor and Ian McKellen and Emma Thompson. All of them were incredible. The supporting cast was great. Stanley Tucci was good. Audra McDonald was good. Gugu Mbatha-Raw was great. I really, really liked the supporting cast, and these actors are incredible actors, so no one is surprised by the fact that they performed very well in the movie. So moving on to some other things I really enjoyed about the movie. What I really enjoyed about this movie is that it was Beauty and the Beast. The story that I love so much from the animated film was there. That's what I loved so much about this movie, and that's what really connected me to this film. If that animated film was not out, if that did not exist, I don't know if I would have connected as much to this film. And that leads me into my negatives for this movie, is that this movie would not be a good standalone Beauty and the Beast movie if the original didn't exist. The same cannot be said for Jon Favreau's Jungle Book or Kenneth Branagh's Cinderella, which I think both movies can stand on their own, separate from the animated films that they are based off of. This movie cannot, in my opinion, stand alone. This movie is a good, as Alan Havens, a co-host of Razzles, put it, a good companion piece to the animated film. This is not one that you can just watch alone and truly connect and love these characters as much as you would if you saw the animated film. That's why I liked this movie so much, was because it was the same characters I had seen before. It's the songs that I grew up with loving. That's why I connected to it so much. Beauty and the Beast was always something that has been in my life. It came out in '91, I was born in '94. Beauty and the Beast was always there. These songs, that movie, is something that I have connected to on a personal level my entire life. I love Beauty and the Beast. The songs that we all love so much from the original are good in this movie, but they're not great. Be Our Guest, at least for me, was just a mess visually. I enjoyed the song, and I thought Ewan McGregor and company did very good job performing the song, but it was a visual mess on screen. You couldn't even really tell what was happening, and that wonder from Be Our Guest, from the original, of being able to see all the silverware, all the accoutrement doing something, dancing, acting, being crazy, just being alive, that wasn't seen in this. It just seemed like a mess of colors and visual effects. And that brings me to one of my biggest issues with this movie, was the visual effects. And I'm not saying that they were bad. It's not true at all. They were good. They were very, very good. And I don't think this movie is gonna age poorly because of the visual effects. I just think that they were a little much. Dan Stevens' Beast was maybe the only visual effect where I had an issue at times saying, that might not hold up as well. Everything else I think is gonna hold up perfectly fine. It's just that I thought it was kind of ugly. There were parts of the castle that were straight up ugly to look at. And I know people are saying that that's the way it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look ugly and run down because of the Enchantress's curse. But there's a difference between something looking ugly and run down and something just looking straight up ugly. In a film, something that looks ugly and run down is supposed to still be visually appealing. It's still supposed to be something that I want to watch for 2 hours and 9 minutes. It's not supposed to be something that I don't even want to look at. And that's the way that part of this production looked. It looked like something I didn't even want to see anymore. And I'm not saying that it was repulsive, I'm saying that it was confusingly ugly. It just didn't bring me to want to keep looking at the film. Now, costumes were great. Makeup was great. Those kind of things are nomination worthy in my opinion. The costumes were incredible. Most of the production design was great as well. I loved Belle's town. I loved certain parts of the castle, the ballroom, things like that. It was just certain designs I didn't find quite visually appealing, and it kind of bothered me. One of my biggest issues with this film is the length. Now, the original animated film is about 45 minutes shorter than this film. Now, I understand that when you're stretching something out, you're adapting an animated film into a live action film. It's gonna be a little longer. You're gonna have to add things. You're gonna have to make it more seamless in transition. You're gonna have to just really flesh out the world a little bit more, but 45 minutes is a very long time, especially because the animated film is so concise. And I think that's one of the benefits of the animated film, is that they didn't try to stretch it too much. It's a very concise film, it's a very contained film, and I think that actually aids the story of Belle being in captivity of the Beast, is that it is such a concise film and that you really do feel for the characters, which is an issue in this new live action remake, that it is 45 minutes longer. They really try to stretch some things. And of course, no spoilers here at all, but there is a subplot in this film that bothers me because it didn't really need to exist, and it wasn't something from the original that I think people were clamoring for. This movie did do a good job at adding to the original lore, taking some things from the original lore and making it new, or at least adding to that lore to make it make a little more sense. But this particular subplot that I'm not going to spoil, that involves a particular character's family, was, I think, a little contrived. That subplot did not need to be in this movie, and I think this movie would have been a better film because of that. If you're gonna add 45 minutes onto this film, take those 45 minutes and make it be about fleshing out the relationship between Belle and the Beast. This movie didn't sell me on the relationship between Belle and the Beast any more than the animated film did, and I think that's the biggest crime about this new remake. Personally, I would have liked to see this movie be about 20 minutes shorter. Still about 25 minutes longer than the animated film, used to flesh out the world, make the world seem a little more real, make it feel lived in for this live action remake, but still take 20 minutes off of the runtime because it was a very long movie. All in all, the 2017 Beauty and the Beast is a good movie if you like the 1991 animated film, but if you don't like the 1991 animated film, or you haven't seen it, this movie is not going to do it for you. I hope the kids that are going to see this Beauty and the Beast are watching the animated film either before or after going, because I just want them to see that work, that amazing film. Beauty and the Beast is fun. There's hilarious moments in this movie. There are touching moments in this movie, and the songs that work so well. That's why I'm going to give 2017's Beauty and the Beast a 7 out of 10. I'm going to touch upon one last thing, and this revolves around Josh Gad's LeFou. I do not understand what all the controversy is about Josh Gad's LeFou being a gay character. this movie handles his sexuality in such a subtle way that is so quiet and beautiful that there should be absolutely no issue. Even if this character was so over the top and loud about their sexuality, it still shouldn't be an issue. But for this version of the character, there should definitely 100% be no issue. It very much bothers me that this is even something that is being discussed. Not only does it make sense for the character, but it makes sense for Disney to be inclusive of all different kinds of people. And I use that word very importantly, people. Because that's what we all are. We are all people who deserve to be loved and who deserve to love whoever they want to love. And if Disney, the home of magic, can't talk about that love, I don't know who can. Anyway guys, I hope you liked my review, and I hope you come back here to Razzle for more of our amazing content that's being released weekly. Don't forget to come back here and check out my Monday movie news show. And as always, I am Zach Maurer. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at IamMaurer, and I'll catch you back here on Razzle.